Okay, system program in operating system. So these are the program that allow you to do, for example, file management, in which in this aspect it allow the user to create, delete, copy, rename, and many other file management operation. In terms of status information, so it also provides the system program that allow the user to display the date, time, and many other system information. There are also system program for file modification, for example, text editor. Also some programming language support also provided as a system program. For example, some operating system comes with compiler, assembler, system program in terms of program loading and execution, and also system program for communication. Some operating system come with browser, program to allow user to transfer file, to send email, and many other system program for communication. OS also a very common system program that allow user to run program as a background services. That means program that run in the background. For example, a program that automatically shut down the system at a specific time. What's the difference between system program and application program? Application program is not considered part of OS. It can be launched by command line, mouse click, or even a touch screen, through touch screen. Okay, in design and implementing operating system, the philosophy is design and implementation of OS not solvable, but some approach have been proven successful. Now, there are two perspectives in terms of OS design and implementation. We have the user goal and the system goal. So from the perspective of the user, the goal is for the OS to provide convenient, easy to learn, reliable and fast. Whereas for the system goal, for the OS designer, it should be easy to design, easy to implement, easy to maintain, and also, of course, reliable, error-free, and efficient. When designing and implementing, the designer also need to consider the policy, design the policy and the mechanism. So, okay, when it comes to implementation, in the early days of computer system, the OS is written in assembly language. After that, they are written in system programming language like ALGOL and PR1. Nowadays, the more common approach is to write the OS using C or even C++. But in the actual implementation, normally it is a mix of languages. The critical part, very small part of the OS or kernel is written in assembly, whereas the main body, majority of the body is written in C. This is what happened in most of the modern operating system. Whereas the system program for the operating system is written in C, C++, or even in Perl or Python. The reason for higher level language is because it is easier to port. If you want to implement the same OS for different hardware, of course it is easier to record and debug. The disadvantage is when you write in high level language, it is slightly slower, and of course it will require bigger storage. There are also platform emulator that allow you to run OS on a non-native hardware. Let's say you write an OS, but that OS is not supported by that hardware. You can use emulation. VisualBox, for example, this is one example of emulator where we have the host OS, for example Windows, and you can run a guest OS on that particular machine. So VisualBox and VM Player are example of emulator where you can run OS, a guest OS on host OS. But although some of the guest OS can also be run on that hardware. Emulation is more critical if you want to run guest OS on a non-native hardware. That means the OS is not supported in that particular hardware. Okay, in terms of operating system structure, there are simple structure. For example, MS-DOS, this is a simple operating system. Unix require more complex structure. Also, there are layered architecture. Mac, this one is based on microkernel, and there are also hybrid approach. For MS-DOS, it is a simple structure, consists of 4 parts. The application program have a direct access to ROM BIOS. It also can communicate with the resident the system program. System program also have direct access to the ROM BIOS. Of course, you have the MS-DOS device driver that communicate to the BIOS device driver. So this is the simple structure for MS-DOS. Unix, it consists of two parts, the system program and the kernel. So the kernel involved in providing file system service, CPU scheduling, memory management, and of course the kernel itself consists of system call interface and the hardware part. This is the traditional Unix system. So you have the kernel that communicate directly to the hardware, and then you have the system call to talk with the kernel, and then the user at the top communicate to the system call through shell or through compiler or system library. So the kernel consists of the signal, terminal handling, I/O, file system, CPU scheduling, virtual memory, and so on. Another approach is based on layered approach, where you have the layer 0 at the bottom layer, that is the hardware, and then you have the top layer, layer N, for the user interface. There are also microkernel system structure. macOS X is based on this approach. So in microkernel system, you have two parts: the user mode and the kernel mode, and the bottom is the hardware. So user mode need to go through the kernel mode in order to communicate to the hardware. Module, this is very common in modern operating system. In Linux, for example, if you need additional kernel module, you can load it dynamically at runtime. So the kernel start with small number of modules. So depending on the hardware that you have or the requirement you have at a particular time, the user can load additional module when the OS is running. So this is the approach used by Linux, for example. So with this approach, the whole kernel doesn't need to be recompiled. So if you want to add additional kernel, additional module, so you just need to compile that new kernel module, and you can load it later when the kernel, the main kernel is running. So this is the mechanism used by Linux. You can load additional kernel module as required by the additional hardware that you attach to your computer system. Solaris, we won't go into detail because Solaris is considered dead right now. There's no more Solaris operating system, but there is a copy that you can try if you want to try Solaris. The interface is very similar to Unix. Hybrid system is also very common, especially in macOS X. It apply a hybrid approach involving the combination of Aqua and Cocoa programming environment. The kernel of the macOS consists of microkernel, Mac, and BSD. So it is a combination of Mac and BSD. That is for macOS X. This is the diagram of macOS X. As you can see here, the kernel environment, it is a combination of the hybrid of Mac and BSD. So the graphical user interface is called Aqua. iOS, it is actually the smaller version of macOS. So iOS is used for iPhone and iPad for mobile devices. Android, this is the modified version of Linux. It is based on Linux. This is the mobile version of Linux. So this is Android OS. The architecture of the Android. So basically, it is a Linux kernel, but modified so that it's suitable for mobile devices. Now, system boot. So in order for computer system to run the OS, in order for it to start, it needs to know the location of the OS. So this is where the small piece of code is stored in a ROM or EEPROM. So this is the bootstrap loader that locate the kernel. So kernel is the OS. So once the kernel is located, it is loaded into the memory and the computer can start. Okay. So of course the kernel will initialize the hardware and to do many other operation, for example mounting the root file system. It is also very common to have a two-step process where you have the small bootloader stored in the BIOS, that is in ROM, and then that BIOS, that small loader will load another bootstrap loader, so that bootloader will locate the location of the actual OS that you want to run. Let's say you want to run multiple operating system in your system, so you can use this two-step process. You have the small bootloader in the BIOS, and then you can have grub, for example, that allow you to select different kernel. That means kernel, let's say you want to run kernel, Windows kernel, then you can start the Windows operating system. So if you want to run Linux, then you can choose the Linux kernel. So you can store more than one operating system in your system if you apply a two-step process. Okay, how to debug the operating system? The most common is to use log file or core dump. So core dump is simply a file that store the memory, the memory process, the memory of the process. There are also file crash dump file, and also you can do profiling. To tune your computer, there are many system programs that you can use, so that you can tune, because that system program allow you to check the utilization, CPU utilization, the number of process currently running, the uptime, and the memory usage, the running GPU, and so on. Dtrace is the tool available in Solaris, FreeBSD, and macOS. Okay, that's the end of this chapter. Hopefully you can after this we're gonna create a module kernel, this one, the loadable kernel module on Linux. So we're gonna write a kernel. So this involves what we call kernel programming. So I see you this Thursday for lab session of kernel programming.